So you decided to start up at 18.
Yeah.
Now that's a very late age to start. But why did you do it? That's my question.
Secondly, in case of aerial arts, what happens is that the approach is more towards unlocking this move or unlocking this trick.
So can we call this like a new age career, which you have also been introduced to?
Always thought that if I'm getting into my passion, then academics should be something which is completely opposite of that, so that if not this, then that. Especially for my mother, she was extremely supportive since the beginning of my journey that, you have to do what you love to do because
Hi, Nyushi.
hello.
Why do you look so stressed? Are you?
This is actually my second podcast, but it does definitely make me a little conscious because any content which I create, it's always in takes. So the podcast, the goal is like I want to create everything in one go.
Yeah.
And as naturally flowing as possible. That's why.
It's okay. We'll make it very chilled.
Yeah.
We'll also. अच्छा सुबह क्या खाया तुमने? So let's
Subah.
start with that.
Okay. I ate upma
अच्छा.
when I came.
So is there while doing aerial yoga, because you're an aerial yoga teacher, is there a particular diet which one should maintain or कोई कुछ भी खा सकता है?
So naturally, each and every person who's especially into fitness, something has to be followed. But I believe in having something which is more like a naturally balanced diet along with a lifestyle which is supporting my body because
Right.
everyone's body is different. So I know some people who are going very excess in case of consuming their proteins and everything and vegetables, etc. But in my case, what I believe is that whatever's helping my body function at its maximum capacity, that's the kind of meal which I should be following.
Right.
So I would always recommend having like a balanced, a healthy, as well as having your own cheat days kind of a diet plan compared to following something which is strict, because that is in the end a lot more sustainable compared to something which you have to like follow tables with.
Right. So why and when did you decide to become an aerial yoga teacher?
So I decided to get into aerial arts a couple of years after I started exploring yoga. And I started my journey in teaching yoga when I was just like 15, 16 years old. That's when I
Teaching
decided.
yoga at 15,
Yes,
16.
yes.
Wow.
So I decided that time, and then naturally because I was studying and I had exam stress, pressures, etc. So I decided to take it up professionally when I was 18. But every single day I was trying to make my plan, my map, that this is the direction I want to follow and this is what I'm going to do after my 12th grade board exam gets over. And that's when I actually ended up making things concrete.
So you decided to start up at 18.
Yeah.
Now that's a very late age to start. So, and how supportive were your parents?
Yeah.
And did you study anything uske baad or did you not?
I did. I studied commerce, but it was just for the heck of it. Every single day it was like it was so forceful. Every single day waking up at 6 a.m., going for the lectures and then coming back home crying that why did I choose to do this when it is nowhere connected to what I'm doing.
Correct.
And
But why
then-
did you do it? That's my question too.
I did that because naturally when you're like in the 12th grade in the first year degree college, you don't know what is actually going to help you make a living in the future, especially
Right.
if you're doing something which is very passion driven
Right.
and something which is not one of the most mainstream topics
Careers
and the
and all of
most
that.
career
Absolutely,
options, something
yeah.
which nobody in my circle had ever explored or something.
Right.
So I always thought that if I'm getting into something, getting into my passion, then my academics should be something which is completely opposite of that, so that if not this, then that. But that was definitely the wrong approach. I mean, I would have
Right.
grown a lot
Yeah.
more if I already knew what I want to do and if I would have started working towards that
Right.
much stronger ever since I knew it.
So do you think education is a farce in India?
Education, it definitely is. I mean, each and every, no parents would ever want their kids to, would happily be accepting of the fact that their kids want to get into teaching pole dancing or
Yeah.
aerial arts or maybe even yoga to some extent, or at least start their journeys with that. From the trainings, etc., which I have done, I have noticed that everybody does 10 other things. After that, they realize that this is where they belong.
Yeah.
So that exploration factor, just because that has been the ideology, that has been the mindset since so many years, That's what they continue. But I decided to take a different route.
What were your parents' take on this?
My parents, so initially, naturally, they were very skeptical, but they were very, especially for my mother, she was extremely supportive since the beginning of my journey that, you have to do what you love to do, because if you don't end up doing that, you will always, irrespective of how much ever money you end up making, you will always internally feel that I wasted my years. You will always have that guilt when you turn 30 or 40 years old, that why didn't I start sooner?
Right.
So rather, just give it your all to whatever you want to do, instead of just deciding what you want to do on the basis of what the society is expecting out of you, or
Correct.
what everybody else is doing.
Right.
Because in the end, you end up standing out more only if you bring out your inner self. So right now, even in case of social media, if you might have noticed the trends, what we are seeing is only the people who are ready to express their individuality and not copying somebody else, that is the time when they're actually standing out, and that is what people want. That is what gives you the recognition at the end of the day, and not something which shows that you're just copying somebody else, because then why would they look at you? They would look at the other person you're copying, right?
Right.
So that has always been one of my biggest motivational factors.
Right. So, coming back to the education topic,
Yeah.
we all know that in India, again, I think 8 out of 10 children who want to study, they don't study because they want to study that particular subject or course. It is because their parents want them to study that or take up that field.
Yes.
Perhaps maybe 10 years back it was 9 out of 10, maybe it has reduced a bit, but still very much, there's a pressure ki this is what you want to do, this is what you want to do, this is what you have to do. And obviously, as I said, the landscape is changing a little, but again, we are very far away from parents telling their children ki do what you want to do in life. If you don't want to study, don't study.
Yes.
Pursue a passion or something of that sort. Why, in your opinion, as a society, why is it taking so long for us to evolve, for parents to accept that let the children be?
I think this comes down through generations. It's something, and it is changing generationally. I mean, what it was in the time when my parents were young and my age, and what it is now, there is definitely like a drastic change. And they are also in a path of exploring. They themselves don't know what is in store for them or what is in store for their children. So it is all more about what you're anticipating on the basis of some successful examples which they might have seen in their lives. For example, if my parents have like a friend who has done very well for themselves through like by taking the path of being a CA and then going up the corporate ladder. So then they tend to tell their children that, see, uncle को देखो इतना ऊपर गए उनके लाइफ में क्योंकि उन्होंने ये किया, उन्होंने CA किया, फिर 10 साल ये कंपनी में काम किया उसकी वजह से. So it's a lot about comparing and
Which
seeing.
Again is very wrong.
Yes, which is obviously it's incorrect, because they naturally, because they love their children, they want to see them succeed in a way which is something like the formula is already filled. It's something like that. But when the child wants to create their own formula for their own equation, if their life is their equation, so that is something which they will naturally be very unsure about. That this, हमें पता नहीं कि हमारा बच्चा ऊपर जाएगा या एकदम नीचे जाएगा और अपने आप को मैनेज नहीं कर पाएगा, स्ट्रेस होगा लाइफ में, ये वो, उससे अच्छा हम ही बोल देते हैं उसको कि क्या करना चाहिए लाइफ में. So that is usually the ideology which they carry more or less. But I really feel in this city, in Mumbai, the times are really changing. I see that parents now want to support their children in case of what they want to do and what they feel like doing, because even they are learning how to explore themselves. Even in case of their interests and choices. At least I see this in my family के वो लोग खुद के साथ भी they are constantly learning every single day. They are open to trying out new things and exploring different passions and fitness and things like that. So they do tend to push that on their children as well. And I do see that generational change coming in. And sometimes क्या होता है that the children also end up going ahead with what their parents want to, because they themselves are not sure and they are very underconfident in their skin, you know, that it's a lot about confidence. उन लोग को लगता है कि because for a very long time what जो भी मेरे parents का opinion था वो मेरा opinion हो जाता था, because that is what it has been. Your parents hold a very strong space in your mind when it comes to opinions कि वो जो उनका होता है, but it takes a little time, it takes a few incidents, a few failures to realize that you have a mind of your own and you can make your own decisions.
Right. So you started at a very young age. Now, what are the pros and cons of starting at such a young age? 18 to be precise.
So when you have just turned an adult, so tabhi the pros are, the biggest factor which I would say to start young is that you don't have any liabilities to take care of. You don't have to pay for your own life. You don't have to pay for other people's life. You're living rent free. You don't have to pay for your food. So आपको जितना भी risk लेना है आप ले सकते हो. मतलब in case of, even if it is not like a financial risk, even if it is risk in case of giving your time commitment to something, you are liability free. You know, you can manage yourself as well as focus on your passion. So that is one of the biggest factors why I would suggest that if you're so sure of something, you should get into it when you are young, in your teens. And that is one of the biggest pros. And coming to the cons, when you start young, that time the confidence factor is very low, because you see other people who are much older succeeding well in their industries, and you have to manage so many things along with your educational commitments, along with other social commitments, etc., that you don't know how to go ahead with focusing on your profession. So that is one of the cons कि बहुत बार confidence की वजह से वो लोग ऐसे manage नहीं कर पाते. They don't know what to focus more on, whether to focus more on studies or whether to focus more on their work. And obviously parents का support भी बहुत important है. The mentality which they have, that sometimes does tend to get passed on to you, at least for some time, till you realize what's best for you. So that is one of the bigger cons of starting sooner.
Right. And what is the difference between yoga and aerial yoga?
So I teach yoga, which is more of a traditional practice. It has multiple styles. And in case of aerial arts, it's actually not exactly aerial yoga. That is something which is very internationally created. It is not something which is more like a traditional form of practice. So I am more into aerial arts, which is more like an acrobatic performance-oriented style of practice. It's more like a dance form compared to more like a yogic practice. And yoga is more like a lifestyle form. Something which is to be done on day-to-day basis and actually continuous self-work, and can even be done if you're not, like, it's not just restricted to the asana practice. There are many other things also which can be explored in case of yoga. But the aerial arts approach is a little bit different compared to what the approach towards yoga is.
Right. Yeah. And in terms of being benefited with aerial arts, what is the visible difference one can feel?
In case of, so aerial arts, it is a performing arts style. So it's something which is like a major confidence boosting factor. It's something which helps you come out of stage fright, something which helps you become a part of a community, something which has like a collective, like a more universal effect, something which is more towards artistry, creativity, and a lot of continuous movement and flowing. Whereas in case of yoga, it is more like a grounding practice, which is not to be done with any intentions or expectations or goals. It is just supposed to be done as a part of your life. It's supposed to, and it works on itself. So that's where the difference comes in.
Right. And in terms of yoga, you know, there are so many health benefits, and there's also benefits which help the mind, you know. Talk us through one of your maybe case studies who maybe came to you with a certain problem in mind. It can be also underconfident. It can be about any mental issue. It can be a physical ailment, and how you help them change their course of life.
So in case of aerial arts, the students who have come to me, they have come with zero expectations. They just came to try this form. This looks very cool, and I'm going upside down, and or maybe to get some nice pictures for Instagram and get some likes and comments. But what I have noticed is that in the duration of time with practice over months or over years, I see that all of them are firstly getting to be a part of a community, something which is more like a collective approach where two or three people are working towards the same trick and, figuring things out and falling and, getting acknowledged for doing so well, so that all of these factors are very confidence. It really helps you with confidence
Yeah,
building.
right.
So that is one of the bigger points. And secondly, in case of aerial arts, what happens is that the approach is more towards unlocking this move or unlocking this trick. But so the advantage is that without realizing the amount of strength and flexibility they end up building up in the process, it is unmatched. It is unbelievable that. So previously, when I started practicing aerial arts, that time I had zero upper body strength. I was only flexible because I was into dancing and yoga before. I had a lot of flexibility, but I had zero upper body strength, in which, I'm literally pulling and lifting the weight of my body and doing things in the air. So I had zero skills for that. And it took me so long to build that practice up. And I
Right.
trained internationally. I trained under multiple circus artists. But then with time, I realized that I'm so easily being able to do pull-ups. मतलब अगर मैंने पहले ये practice किया होता, if I went to the gym first before doing aerial arts, I wouldn't have even been able to lift myself up slightly. Then I
Right.
would have been like, ये मेरे से होने ही नहीं वाला. This is not my thing. And it's not possible for me to do it. Maybe my body is like that because other people are doing it so easily. But after doing aerial arts, when I went to the gym, I was actually able to pull up and lift myself up. So that shows that aerial arts is such a fun way to build the amount of strength which you can't even imagine. It's absolutely unmatched.
Right. So in terms of aerial arts, uh, has there anybody who's come to you and said कि मुझे ये aerial arts करना है, लेकिन मुझे I don't want to do it for pictures, I don't want to do it for any mindset change, I want to do it because I want to prove something to somebody. Has there been any situation where like कि मेरे को I have to prove somebody कि मेरे को भी ये आता है? ऐसा कभी हुआ है कि somebody's come with maybe a blot in their heart or something, and they are coming to you so that heaviness comes out? Mental issues के लिए भी कोई आए हैं? Somebody come to you?
Mental issues, not that our students are very comfortable saying that.
Maybe
but
one or two case scenarios, something of that
in
sort.
scenarios where sometimes, yes, I have actually had experiences where that there are college going students who are in the peak of their JEE exams and preparing for that. They want that thing which is like a stress buster for them. They want to come to a
Okay.
place which will take them out of that mindset of sitting at home and studying for 7-8 hours in the day, and something which is giving them a change of environment, something which is helping them meet new people and do different forms and tricks and feel beautiful about themselves, about their bodies. And even if it's not with the intention of maybe becoming fit, but it is more with the intention of admiring yourself.
Right. So can we call this like a new age career, which you have also been introduced to?
It definitely is, because it hasn't been a part of our country since generations. It's
Right.
something which has come up since 2000s. So it's definitely something. It's more like a new career path as well as a new style which helps you connect with yourself more,
Right.
along with
And
many other things.
Talk us through about the economics of this business. How much money can you make, and how much money did you make initially versus what you're making right now?
So when I started, it was just yoga which was there, and there was no aerial arts. In fact, I had just started exploring that as a form of practice as well, and not looking at it professionally back then. So tabhi, I did my certification when I was like 18 years old in the month of August. I had just turned 18 that time, and I started teaching when it was approximately December month. तो फिर December से लेके next year के December तक, I approximately made a revenue of 50,000. But that was something which was very personally a very big win for me, because I was so happy that I made a revenue of 50,000 in 1 year. But 50,000 was very big money for me that time.
Obviously.
And even if it was like a very small amount, it's something which gave me the confidence booster and was like, at least, yeah, agar kuch bhi nahi hoga, I can at least make something out of
Right.
it and enjoy doing what I'm doing. But then in the second year, I started focusing more in the business aspect of teaching. So I wanted to reach more people. And actually, 50,000 living in the city in 1 year, that is definitely not the revenue which is going to
Right.
sustain you in a city like Mumbai. I started exploring different paths, and that's when I actually started taking aerial arts seriously in case of considering it as a form of my profession as well, and something in which I wanted to make my niche in. It doesn't have the space for me. It's not the energy which I have to pull it off in the yoga market when there are such beautiful gurus and teachers who are imparting so much knowledge and wisdom to their people. And I knew कि मेरे में वो yoga के लिए I never had it in me. It was more like a self practice form for me compared to something which I would want to teach, and make, a living out of. So then came an aerial arts, and then from year number 2, I started making the revenue of 50,000 every single month.
Wow.
And that was something which was so magical for me, because it gave me a very big confidence booster, and it made me realize that I am going right somewhere. And that's when I had introduced teaching aerial yoga, which is like the combination of aerial arts with flexibility and yoga, like using the hammock as an apparatus
Right.
to teach yoga with. So that was just like a combined form, and that gave me a very good reach and a beautiful audience. And then after that, in my year number 3, I introduced aerial silks, which was entirely like a performing arts practice, which was more acrobatic, more spin based, more musicality, and it was just like a dance form, something which was very different compared to what I was already teaching. So initially my focus was just fitness and wellness, but then it moved towards performing and expressing,
Right.
and building that strength and all of that. So then from my 3rd year, my revenue approximately increased to approximately 1 lakh to 1,50,000 every single month. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the profits have also gone up equally, because naturally, being in a city like Bombay, the rentals are also something which take a huge chunk of whatever
Obviously.
you are making. And of course, and naturally, if you're trying to reach more people, you also have to look into the marketing expenses, because that was something which was not done at all for the initial 2 years. It was
Right.
more like, for the first 2 years, it was more like mera class ho raha hai, making just like a 10 seconds video out of taking the glimpse and posting it as a reel with some fancy music. That was marketing for me for the first 2 years.
Right.
But in the next 2 years, marketing became more about community engagement, more about high-end edits, more about how the people are feeling about your classes, and
Correct.
sharing the emotions behind what I'm teaching, sharing my personal stories, which I started very recently in this year, founder stories and mistakes which I made in my business, and all of this added up to my expenses as well. Yeah.
So, what was that one moment or one instance or maybe one thing
Yeah.
which happened when you said कि this is the time when I have to start, अब बस करना है?
तो मैंने एक्चुअली 2 साल 16 to 18 में मैंने बहुत प्रोक्रेस्टिनेट किया, और तभी वेरी पर्सनली व्हेन आई वाज 16 and 18, that those teenage years for me were very difficult, because मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस वॉज रॉक बॉटम, क्योंकि वॉट वॉज हैपनिंग इज दैट आई हैव हैड एक्ने प्रॉब्लम since like I was 12 years old, and that is something which took away my confidence completely. It gave me stage fright. It made me feel uncomfortable making eye contact with people. And what happened at the age of 18 was I had my first heartbreak too. So I had like hit that complete rock bottom in case of my personal life. And then I was like, is this how I want to live the rest of my life, in this, getting rejected by people, not putting out my, real side, and not being, in that space where I don't care about what other people think. I don't want to continue living in this space where I'm at. So kya hua that 18 was a very big transitional moment for me. Then I did my first yoga teachers training, and in
Right.
that I found such a beautiful community of people. The people who don't judge you, the people who appreciate you for the things that you do, the people who admire you. And after that, I started teaching. फिर उसमें मेरा वो confidence का upward slope kind of started
Right.
that time.
Right.
So,
And you're also into pole dancing. You know?
yes.
Now, how did you start that? How did you add that into your skill set?
Yes. So I was always into aerial arts, which was like a dance form. And for aerial arts, I started traveling internationally to learn from different circus artists, because aerial is not a form which was originated in India. It's something which comes from the States and other places. And over there, the aerial industry is decently very big. So I traveled everywhere across to impart knowledge from the teachers over there as well as the performers over there. And over there, that's the first time when I actually came across pole. And that's the first time I took my first session of pole. And then I started learning pole in the city. But in the city, what I noticed was, because I was already an aerial arts teacher in the same industry, I experienced that the people are getting very competitive with me. Nobody is ready to teach me. So I've had teachers who have kept me at the most intro and beginner level, despite of me being an intermediate or an advanced student in pole, after so much practice and after so much international training. So I realized that that this is, not something which I would ever do to anyone. Like, that is burning money over something just to satisfy other people's comfort zones. It's highly unethical. The people rather the teachers who were in Bombay, it should have communicated to me that they are not comfortable teaching me, rather than something unethical, something like this. So then that was the time when I actually decided that I want to get into the pole industry professionally as well, and not just as a form of exercise, because it's a very small industry in this city and in this country right now. And I want to be one of the teachers who spreads this across.
Right. And also, if you can break down some of the myths and the taboo around it.
Myths. So pole in itself, it's a very difficult industry to be in if you start worrying about what other people might think of you, because naturally it has been a performing arts style, even in case of like even with the intention of making it look seductive and provocative. So pole has been like one of the most common dance styles for something like that. But honestly, the way I look at pole is, it's more of a style which gives you the sense of freedom, movement, expression, self-love, then awareness about each and every part of your body, because of the
Right.
amount of control which you require to climb and to move so gracefully, after keeping your body stuck to something in the air without any support, and entirely pulling and holding the weight of your body all throughout your practice. That is something which is more like a very strength based and a very empowering form of
Right.
exercise.
Right. So also, on the internet, there are a lot of videos right now in India of students trying to learn pole and all of that.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of filthy comments as well compared to the clothing. What is
Yes.
your take on that?
So I would mainly say that I wouldn't like judge the people who comment on me this way, or anybody else who is into pole this way, because that is lack of awareness. So just like how swimmers and ballet dancers have costumes, the costume for pole is shorts and sports bras, because what happens is that your body needs grip to stick on the pole, and if you wear any form of clothing on steel or any kind of metal, you will naturally tend to slip, right? So for direct body contact, that is one of the reasons why people dress up the way they do in case of pole fitness.
Have you ever been perturbed by any negative comments which you might have received on the internet?
Never. For some reason, ever since I was 18 years old, ever since I got into this industry, any comment, nothing matters. Especially, this is actually very natural that you tend to get affected by what people think about you. But in my case, what I noticed is that the moment I started doing something and I started realizing that this is actually making a difference in the society, you start gaining the confidence in yourself that it doesn't matter what other people think of you.
Right.
So that is something which came with time. But after I was 18, I just stopped caring about what other people say, because I was any which ways doing something which others wouldn't do or start their journeys with. So I became so thick-skinned that matlab, I have gotten very bad comments, like very, very horrible DMs, comments, and
Do you
whatnot.
remember any? The worst ones?
The worst one's the stripper thing. Then, um, many in Hindi. There are 100 galis which people can give you and make you feel like a slut or a whore or whatnot. So that has never, because I honestly feel that even if like a lady is walking on the road, there will be people who are passing judgments and
Yeah.
comments towards that. So then I just stopped getting affected by that because that doesn't define the lady or that doesn't define me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So for anybody who's wanting to start a career,
Yeah.
or I would say career which is a little offbeat, what will be your words of advice to them, especially somebody who started out so young?
Um, I would say first thing, what I spoke about previously, that never worry about people's judgments or comments. In the end, you do you. You have to bring out your own personality, your own individuality, for which you will be recognized for in the end, at the end of the day, irrespective of whatever the people think of you. As long as you are in your ethical limits, as long as you are respecting the comfort zones of yourself as well as the person
Right.
in front of you, as long as the idea of doing something is not with the intention to please somebody and it is solely for yourself, just ignore the fact that others will end up passing comments about you.
Thank you so much, Nyoshi, for coming to Twisted Truths, and we wish you all the very best. And I hope your revenue turns from lakhs into crores very, very soon.
Thank you so much. It was lovely being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.